So, have you ever felt like your art is just not getting anywhere and you're just drawing the same thing over and over, and you're at a point that you can't even find any motivation to continue on because you're feeling like it's not even doing anything, so that you don't even want to draw at all, and you end up just scrolling through Pinterest, Instagram, you're just in a chaos. And I've been there. I know how disheartening it feels like. I know that you're feeling like you're stuck in a rut. But I've been really stuck in that loop for so many times in the past that I know exactly how to get out of it. And it's not like I am never ever going to be stuck in that loop ever again. But I know when I am. If you're aware of it, you're gonna get out of it so soon that like over time you're never ever even going to even go there. Because I know that as an artist, as a creative person, you have to always just refresh your mindset and just like have a very active mind. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to create. You have to have a lot of ideas in your head so that one of those ideas actually makes sense. How you're going to do that is not by just like going on Pinterest or on Instagram or on YouTube or on other social medias and just consume a lot of content. The worst of all would be when you're consuming a lot of short content, like a very TikTok-y sort of format. That's like the worst for your artistic brain. If you want to improve your artistic brain, you have to take a deep dive in your interest. Like you have to find creative tools so that your brain is not constantly just seeking passive content. Maybe that creative tool is just you going on a walk. Maybe that creative tool is just going for a run. Maybe for you it's cooking. Maybe it's reading. Maybe it's writing. There's so many things that you could be doing. Have you ever noticed that like whenever you're doing something, when you're actually doing something that might not be related to your work, you're feeling the waste of time much more than when you're scrolling through TikTok? I mean, how ironic is that? That's how our brain is not able to actually conceive the long-term sort of result. It wants that short-term dopamine pump into the brain. That's all it wants. And you have to not give it that because that's a destructive tool. It's not a constructive tool. You have to find creative tools so that your brain is not constantly seeking something that is hollow and so empty. So the first step is to sit at your desk or preferably just go out into the nature and just sit for 10 minutes, the least of it. If you can do it just for 10 minutes, then do it for 10 minutes. That's the least that I can ask. But the ideal situation would be just taking a 1 hour walk and try to just completely detox your system from all the nonsensical content that you've been consuming. You've been losing your own voice, your own creative voice, by just looking at other people's creative work. They're just trying to do their own business. Really, your favorite artists and those artists that are so good at their craft, they're actually spending time with themselves. It's not like they're actually scrolling through all the apps that they're using. They're just using it to tell their own stories. So they don't consume a lot of works, at least not in that format. They just come up with their own work, and that's how they are able to make exceptional works because they're working on themselves much more than they're consuming media. So you might be asking, how the heck am I going to be able to work on myself? And that's a very valid question. I mean, the fact that you're actually asking yourself, that is the first step toward working on yourself. And so how it works is just so simple. Just go right ahead, shut down all the noises, and go do something creative. Don't just consume it, do it. Like, go and make a piece of art that you were always dreaming of. Go read a book that is on your TBR list. Go write a piece of content. Go even make a movie. I don't know like what your passion is, but just do something. The knowledge that you get from creating something is infinitely greater than the knowledge that you get from consuming something. So next time you're feeling like you're not having any motivation to do anything, it's just because you've not been doing the right thing. So ask yourself, what are you actually doing? And don't lie to yourself. The first step toward improving yourself is just cutting all the lies out. Because whenever you're saying that, yeah, I'm gonna become an artist, or I'm gonna make that great piece of art and I'm gonna do it eventually. Whenever you're saying that, you're just like pretending that you're actually doing something, but you're not actually doing something. So be honest with yourself and just tell yourself that you're not doing anything. So don't just say, yeah, I'm gonna achieve that in the future, but like actually confront the truth and see what you can do to improve it. Because there's so many ways that you can improve it, and it's not hard. It's not harder than the way you feel when you're done scrolling for hours on end. One day I was like not doing anything, so I went on scrolling, and afterward I was like, wow, life can be so hard after you've scrolled a lot. It's like you're feeling the guilt too much that you can't even live with yourself anymore. I mean, that's harder than actually doing something. That guilt is harder, is infinitely harder than actually doing something that might be a little bit hard, you know? And so when I say go for a walk, is to observe your thoughts. And it's gonna be hard, but you need that. You need that to actually come to understand what you stand for, and not just be like bombarded with all this stuff that is not even related to you and it's not even gonna help you in life. It doesn't even do anything for you. So like slowly you're forgetting about yourself by just scrolling. You're gonna end up losing your identity even. I'm not even joking. Like, I've been there. I felt so bad that I was like, who am I anymore, right? You have to show yourself to the world. How you're gonna do that is by creating and doing something. When you're doing something, you're solidifying your identity. And you know what you are. The thing that you do is gonna be your identity. You are what you do. And that's really true. What you do is gonna shape your identity. It's gonna shape your mindset. It's gonna shape your personality. And just imagine, if you're always scrolling, like, are you a scroller now? Your identity. And I wanted to say all of this because I know that it's a very simple solution to just like take a walk and like write down something, like make a plan for what you're gonna do and make an implementation intention, being really exact about what you're gonna do, where you're gonna do it, and when you're gonna do it. That's like what is going to pull you out of that rut. So it's a very simple thing. Just be deliberate with what you're doing and do it with intention. Have an intention of doing something and do it. If you're actually going to scroll, then set an intention. Like, why do you want to scroll? I'm not saying every scrolling is bad. Like, sometimes I scroll because I want to do a research. It's not all bad. It's really whether or not you have an intention behind it. And finding a routine that fits your artistic process is really important, and it's gonna make it so that you're replacing something, not just removing it, because it doesn't work. Like when you're trying to remove something, like you have to replace it with something good, and that's it. Do something that might feel boring, but do it for a long time so that it doesn't feel boring anymore. Work on your focus, because focus is the most valuable asset for creativity, and without it, you're not gonna be able to create. So don't lose that focus by scrolling. Just go ahead and create something. And the final note, create a routine, create a to-do list. Otherwise, you're gonna feel like you have nothing to do and you'll be scrolling in no time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that I can see you in the next video. Have a nice day and stay focused.